It's kind of wild when you think about it, but a huge number of new product features just don't hit the mark. And why is that? Well, a lot of the time, it's because product teams are absolutely buried in feedback with no clear way to figure out what to do next. Today, we are going to fix that. Welcome. We're going to walk through exactly how to turn that mountain of feedback into a crystal clear roadmap for success. Oh man, I remember this feeling so well. You finally launch your product, and that first week is just amazing. But then it starts. The feedback. A flood of emails, comments, support tickets, you name it. You feel like you're drowning. It's that classic, now what moment every products person and founder goes through. And that is exactly what we're tackling today, right? It's not just like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It feels like the haystack is also on fire. You've got opinions coming at you from every direction, and it seems impossible to know what's actually important and what's just, well, noise. But what if there was a way to turn that fire hose of information into a focused laser beam? That's what we're going to. All right, you ready to wrangle all that feedback? Here's our game plan. We've got a simple three-phase process to bring some order to the chaos. We're going to start with the roadmap itself, then we'll dive into diagnosing the real problems, craft a smart strategy, and finally, build an action plan that actually gets stuff done. And we'll wrap it all up with the one key question that's going to be your guiding light through all of this. Okay, first up, let's talk about the product improvement roadmap. Now, this is more than just a document. It's really a way of thinking. It's about having a super clear vision for where you're headed and a real plan for getting there. Think of it as your product's own GPS, guiding you away from the chaos and toward real, measurable success. The whole thing really boils down to these three simple but super powerful steps: diagnose, strategize, and act. So let's say you keep hearing that your checkout process is confusing. In the diagnose phase, you dig in and find out exactly what's wrong. Then, in the strategize phase, you brainstorm different solutions. And finally, in the act phase, you create a step-by-step plan to roll out the best fix. See? Simple, repeatable, and it works for just about any challenge. So now that we have our map, it's time for step one, the diagnosis. This is where we get our hands dirty. We're going to dive headfirst into that sea of feedback and start pulling out the little gems of wisdom that will guide every decision we make from here on out. Man, feedback can feel like it's coming from everywhere at once, can it? Of course, you've got your customers. They're the most important voice. Then you have your partners, the folks on the front lines. And don't forget your own team, sales, support, engineering. They know your product inside and out. And finally, you have those industry experts who can give you a totally fresh perspective. And this is where the magic happens. A simple table like this is your secret weapon. You start sorting feedback by who said it, what kind of feedback it is, and most importantly, what the priority is. And just like that, you start seeing the signal through the noise. That vague complaint about the checkout process, suddenly it's a high priority issue coming straight from your customers. Now you know exactly what you need to focus on. So let's be super clear. Diagnosis isn't just about collecting complaints. Nope. It's about putting on your detective hat. You're looking at all the clues, from user experience to your tech stack to your costs, to really uncover the root problems holding your product back. It's a full-on investigation. Okay, so we've played detective, we've found the clues, now what? Well, now it's time to become the master strategist. Welcome to Phase 2, Strategy. This is where we turn all those insights we just uncovered into a real winning game plan for the future. And this is where it gets really exciting. We're not just putting out fires anymore. We're actually planning our next big move. This table is kind of like a crystal ball. It lets you weigh these big opportunities, like expanding into a new market, against the risks involved. We're talking about making smart, data-driven decisions, not just going with your gut. But remember, there are no easy answers here. Every big opportunity comes with a trade-off. As you see here, expanding into Europe could be a total game changer for the business. But it's also a huge investment with zero guarantee it'll pay off. Real strategy is all about understanding these trade-offs and making the smartest choice you can. And look, strategy isn't just about one big move. You've got to think about the whole picture. Are you still focused on the right market? Is your pricing where it needs to be? Does your marketing message actually connect with people? All of these are critical pieces of the puzzle that your strategy needs to address. A great strategy is like a beautiful sports car with no engine. It looks fantastic, but it's not going anywhere. That's why this final phase, the action plan, is maybe the most important of all. This is where we actually turn our brilliant strategy into reality. It's a story I've seen play out a million times. A brilliant strategy that just fizzles out because there was no real plan to make it happen. We can't let that happen. The action plan is the bridge that takes you from a great idea to a great result. It's where the rubber really meets the road. And here it is. This is your command center, your mission control. This action plan tracks every single thing you're going to do. And notice how clear it is. Every item has a priority, a team that owns it, a timeline, and a status. There's no room for confusion or excuses. This is all about accountability and actually getting things done. Okay, we have covered a ton of ground, but there is one last thing I want to leave you with. Think of it as your North Star, the one question that will guide you through all the tough decisions ahead. I call it the ultimate value question. This is it. This is the question you should be asking constantly. Which improvements will deliver the most value in enhancing customer satisfaction, product market fit, and profitability? If an idea or a feature doesn't have a really good answer to this question, you probably shouldn't be spending your precious time on it. Think of this question as the ultimate filter. Use it during your diagnosis to figure out which feedback really matters. Use it when you're creating your strategy to make those tough trade-offs. And for sure, use it when you're building your action plan to make sure your team is always focused on what's most important. So what do you say? It's time to take control. The goal here isn't just to make small tweaks and hope for the best. It's about making your product better at the things that truly matter to your customers and to your business. Now go on, get out there and build something incredible.